Have you ever put a border on your quilt and it does the wave? Woo! You got it on there and it's like you lay it out and it is not flat. I'm Pat Sloan, and we are going to talk about wavy borders. Going to talk about being the kind of person who does research or just jumps right in. Going to go over what's sew-alongs that are going on, a few new fun things I had. This is my fireside chat. Thank you for being here. It's so good to talk to you, friend. It's really nice on Monday nights to catch up. And you know, if you haven't, if you're new to my channel, you can subscribe and click the bell, which means you get a notice. And I run these on Premiere, so you can chat with me when it runs the first time when the video runs. So borders. There are a couple of different ways that people approach how to get the border on your quilt. So it is flat and not wavy. So here's my heart quilt. Doesn't it look nice? I really wish it was bigger. I do. See, I would like it to be as big as the glow, all the way up, but I would probably need all the way down. I'd probably have needed, about 6 more rows. And I know I was not going to do 6 more rows. So that is something that was not going to happen. So get it done, get it done, get it done. And there it is. But now it's time for the border. So I thought this is perfect. We had a question from Lisa Wagner wrote and asked, could I talk about borders? So I thought, here we go. A lot of times, and I know I have done it. It's okay. Everybody's done it, I think. Unless you're supremely detail oriented, then you probably haven't. But the rest of us have. You've just taken a long length, you sew it on, right? Flip it up and then chop the ends off. Gets the job done, but the probability that you have some wave is in there, because what happens is if you were to measure the top and the bottom of this, they're probably not the same size. They're probably off by 1/8 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, an inch. Yeah, it can happen. So if they're off by a little bit, we don't have to, you know, we can deal with that. We can work with that. But if they are off like a lot, like an inch or heaven forbid more on a great big quilt, that can happen. You really kind of need to fix it. Otherwise, you're going to have some puckering. You're going to have some poofy areas that is just too much. It's too much to ease in. Have you done clothing construction? Who did clothing? Who sewed clothing? Raise your hand. If you sewed clothing, you know about easing in, because fabric has stretch. Fabric stretches, you know, and easing in is a viable way to sew. And so easing in on a border, you only want to ease in a little bit, not like an inch. That's a little bit too much for me. It can be done. You can do it. I've done it. I don't recommend it. So what I do is I want to know the measurements. The top, we're just going to do 2 sides. I'll talk through 2 sides, you know, the top and the bottom. So you take the top and the bottom, we're going to put those on first. You repeat this process when you do the sides. You just have to remeasure. So the top and the bottom, when I measure this quilt, the top is like 44.5 and the bottom is 1/4 inch smaller. So that's a 1/4 inch longer up there. So somewhere in sewing all of these seams, to put these together, the heart blocks, I have, this one maybe, who knows. So one of them is bigger than the other. The top may be right, in the bottom I had some that were a bit deeper seam allowance than they should have been. Some of these may have been wider, whatever, it doesn't matter. At this point, I can fix that 1/4 inch difference by splitting the difference. So between 1/4 and 1/4 is 1/8. Those are those tiny little marks on your ruler, those 1/8 marks. That's what we want to use, because I'm going to split that 1/8 difference so that when I cut this border strip, the 2 pieces I cut for the top and one for the bottom will be identical in size, and they will be I'll be splitting the difference between the 2 sizes. So one part I will make it stretch out, and the other one I will ease it in, and one will push out. So we need to see the 1/8 inch mark. And if you are not familiar with working with 1/8 inch marks, let's take a look. They're not a mystery. They are totally usable little markings on your ruler, but I think quilters tend to get a little like, freaked out. So here we go. Let's make this so that you can see it right side up. Okay, there we go. So if we are at, do you see my nails? I put on the glitter. Fun. Okay, so we'll go out to here. And I'm going to go this way, right? Okay, so here is the full number right here. And then here's the full number. So this happens to be at the 9.5, and that one is at the 10.5, right? So 9.5, 10.5. And here's the 1/2 inch mark, because I'm looking at the, here, let me just do it with the full numbers, because I think, yes, that is going to make more sense. I was on the reverse side of this particular ruler. Let me get this good. All right, so we are at, let's do 17 and 16. Okay, so this is 17, this is 16, this is the halfway mark, 16.5 going to 17. In between are the 1/8 inch. So there's a 1/4, that longer one, and then that little tiny one there, that's the 1/8 inch. So when I measure this, you know, I will be, let's come back out a little bit. So when I want to measure this ruler, you know, measure on here to cut, I will be lining up on an 1/8 inch mark. So that is the line, you can see all along there, the 1/8 of an inch, rather than like a 1/4 of an inch. So you see the difference? So that will be what I'm doing. Now to get that number, I have to take, you know, my whole long border strip, and I will be cutting it, trimming this whole long border strip to 44 and 1/8, 44 and 3/8 rather. So that'd be 3/8 would be, how many is that? We need 3 of those, because there's 1, and there's the 1/4, and there's the 3/8, and then there's the 1/2. Because if you're going to count them, be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way out to the end. So that's what those little marks are for. So I will be cutting this at the 1 and 44 and 3/8 mark when I do this whole long border. And then when I get ready to put it on, let me bring the camera back up. So the first thing is to take those 2 measurements and figure out what you're going to cut. Then take your 2 borders and cut them the size that you need. So I'm going to have 44 and 3/8 for both of these. Next, I will pretend this is now the right size. So I'm not going to pin it on there, but because I didn't get it trimmed yet. So, but you want to find the center. So you mark the center. You can either just crease it like I just did, or you could take a pin and enter it and put it in the pin. And then what you'll do is you'll go to your quilt, and you will take and find the center of the quilt. Now I actually find the real center. I fold it over and mark the center. Because if you're just going to rely on the blocks, what you think is like your center block, like this should be my center block, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This should be the center block. And you think, oh, I would just go right on that seam. Well, if your, you know, place where your seam allowances were a little different, that might not be true center of the quilt. I want true center of the quilt. And then I will take and pin the border on the top at true center, and then pin it on each end. Remember, it would fit exactly. So I would pin true center and then each end. Between that, then I would pin some more. I'm ready to sew. Then I can sew that border on, and it will be accurate. It won't wave, and because I'm only dealing with 1/8, you know, that little tiny bit difference between them, the little bit of give and easing, the technical term easing, at least I think it's a technical term. It's like that will make it all work out fine. So you'll be able to put it in there. That is the way I handle putting the borders on, is measuring accurately, splitting the difference so that I'm actually doing, you know, something that's a little bigger and a little smaller if they're not equal sizes, and then finding the center of the border, the center of the quilt, pin on each end, pin in between, sew. And you are going to have nice, accurate borders. They will be good. Then you repeat for the outer edge, because now you've added this much to it, so you will have more, you have a bigger size, so you need to figure that out. There's another thing with the borders that I find, and actually fabric in general, you know, so that I have, that I thought I would show you because I think it's a pretty cool deal. I was going to put something down, but I don't have anything. Okay, so this, when you're working with your different, get this up here. So when you're working with your different fabrics, and you might have, I want you to see this, you might have a place like this. Can you see? Oh, let me see if I can. It's not showing that well. There it is. Do you see like the crease from the fabric, from, you know, the manufacturing, you know, from being on the bolt and everything? I like to use this stuff because people have asked me, my friends here on the community have asked me, you know, how do you get those creases out? Because on the bolt, that hard crease, this one's, that was not quite as hard a crease, but I've been using this stuff. It's called Flatter. It was actually on Shark Tank. It's from a Canadian company, and it is a really nice product. Let me see, it's from a company called Soak. And what it is this a liquid that you spray on, and it doesn't make it stiff, but it will wet this and relax the fibers. So what I do is, I just spray it so that it's wet. Can you see that that's wet? It's a little hard to see that wet, this particular fabric, but it's wet. And then what I let that do is I let it dry. I don't, and this is a pineapple one. They have lots of Pineapple Grove. They have lots of different scents. I like this one. So that Flatter works for me most of the time. You know, for unless it's a super stubborn one, then I might have to wash it, you know, like soak it in water, maybe, you know, let it dry like that. But this stuff will spray on there, and I find that it really does the job. It's really good. And that one, I love the smell of the pineapple. It's like, okay, so what are we working on this week? I showed you a couple things in the pop-ins, but I'm going to show you them to you again in case you didn't see my pop-ins. This week we had for childhood games, got our pink on, our pink. So this is, oops, be sure my scarf isn't hitting the mic and making it make noise, because I can't tell. So there's the childhood dreams. This is the spirograph. I'm so tempted to get the travel spirograph that I showed you. I just think that looks so cute. So all of my blocks are real primary, you know, colors. They're going to be super fun together in the quilt. I've been messing around with some layouts for the childhood games. So it is going to be quite a nice, vibrant quilt. And this next week, I believe I'm going to do another of the 16-inch blocks, because there's a few of those. So that's what I'm planning. So those are pretty fun. We will have, coming up this week is busy week, because we will do the next charity block on Friday. I will have the next Out West block. That might be on Friday too, or it might be Monday. I have to chat with them to see exactly what day they can do that based on the schedule over at the Stashify people. And then we'll also do Drive Down Bonnie Lane. It is the Small Stars. I had to push that a week due to some things I had to do last week. So the Small Stars. And then we only have the car left over there. So I can't wait to do the car. I'll do a video on laying out the car when we get to that one. So, and then the charity quilt I did want to show you. We're coming out with the 3rd installment, but I wanted to show you some of the blocks done from the kit, because the Fat Quarter Shop sent them to me. These are extra blocks they made. So here is their butterfly block, which I think is so cute. Look at the fabric. This is the fabric in the kit. Yeah, I I love it. I love all the colors. I love that yellow one. And then here was, these were from the first week. Isn't that beautiful with the gray and the peach and the yellow? I just think that is so pretty. And then the single tulip, they sent me this to show you too. So here's the single tulip, which is coming up later to go on the quilt. The layout is so cool for the Bloomtopia, for the charity quilt. And then there's all the tulips. Isn't that great? Feeling like spring, I could do like a whole quilt of these. What do you think? So if you're sewing along with the charity, you get the Bloomtopia when that comes up. If you buy the kit though, you get all the patterns at once, which is kind of nice. So you don't have to wait, actually. So if you, for those, we had some friends asking me to show you the box again. So here's what the box, it's heavy, 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 and comes with all the stuff in it, including the pattern and the ruler. And I asked you the other day, I can't remember if it was a fireside chat or what, but I asked you, should I do the 2020 on mine with Bonnie Lane? And a lot of you said yes, you thought that that it's going to be auction, and you did think it'd be really good to have the 2020. So I think I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do 4 different fabrics. I think I'm going to take one fabric from Bonnie Lane to do the numbers, do the 2020. Okay, and so if you get this kit, you can get the backing kit to go with the front, and you also get like the really cute mouse pad in there, and you get the pattern for that comes with it right away. So you get everything right away if you want to pick up the kit. So I want to tell you, because there are some kits still, so you can join in. You don't have to, feel left out from supporting Make-A-Wish this year for 2020 with Fat Quarter Shop and Moda Fabrics and Chelsea and Sherry, who are the fabric designers and featured, and they're the ones doing the videos this year. That's super nice. Love that you are sewing along. And we have the new cross stitch portion. So if we get in the block on Friday, I have a bit of work to do. Here is how far I've gotten. Okay, true confessions. There's where we're at. So it's the this is block 2 was the lily. So I'm working on the lily. Apparently I cross stitch like at the pace of a slug. I'm not getting to the cross stitch. I have to say, in my defense, I have got other projects that I've got heavy deadlines on. So unfortunately, even my shamrock is lagging behind. I'm trying to put the charity one ahead of the shamrock. So that seasonal shamrock, I might be moving to May as the next one to see if I can. I'll start May then and see how that goes. I'll get it. I'll eventually get it. It's like I'm silly. It's like, oh my goodness. So those are all the sew-alongs. Plus, the new one starts in beginning of April. Yeah, I think that's what I told you, beginning of April. And that is with the charming baby quilts. And we've done this a few times where there's a whole book of quilts, and we are just taking one block from the different quilts. So there you can see one of the quilts, and we're going to be doing a sampler. And so if you go to my website, you'll see all of the links. But the Charming Baby Quilt, my friend Melissa Corey did this, and Melissa was in our Splendid Sampler 1. She was block number 2, if you remember the heart and her wonderful story about designing that heart for her family. She's the author of this book, and so she does amazing quilts, and I love them. And I'm going to be using charm packs from this fabric line, which is very kind of retro, and it's called Happy Vintage 2. It's Lori Holt's fabric. So look at that green. I love that green. More tulips. I'm ready for tulips. So that starts soon. So I will get you all hooked up with that so that you can join in. It takes a bunch of charm packs, so you can use a layer cake and then maybe put in from your stash. And it makes a really nice quilt, and it's going to be so much fun. And that'll be a zip along one. We'll do it weekly when that starts. So it's good. You'll like it. And what I like too is when you do that, when you take a book like this and you do one block from all of the quilts, it lets you see which blocks you like making. You know, I think that's really beneficial because sometimes a block might just, you know, you'd be like, you know, or you might think, and then when you make it, you're like, that was fun. I had fun doing that. And these are all baby quilts, so that means the sizes are pretty reasonable. They're not super big quilts, and that way, so like here, like it got a nice big star, and that's the one I've already done. So if you remember, use all my links, and that helps support Greg and I, our small family business, and it doesn't cost you any more to use our links. And somebody asked me recently, like, where can I find your links? On every page of my website, at the top navigation bar, it says store or shop, and you just go there. And then all the links are there. And on my right sidebar are the links as well. So all you have to do is go there, and you can then start your shopping for whatever you get at the stores that I work with. We get a little credit from that. So thank you. We appreciate it so much. Lets us run all these fun things. So my cross stitch, okay, so that's what I'm basically focusing on, the Bloomtopia right now. And that's just the way life is. I can barely manage that, I think, but I will get it done. Once we get a couple of deadlines for future projects, once those are delivered, then it'll free up just a little bit. But in the meantime, I've decided to be absolutely insane. And I think I showed you on my pop-up. If you'd missed the pop-up, I decided that I needed a shamrock quilt. I'll show you. So this is like a little kit. It's really reasonable. It comes in this super nice box with the magnetic clasps. So this is, now I'm pretty sure I must make it. It's not really that big, you know, and it's a bunch of shamrocks. They're just little sew and flips, and I like applique, so like, you know, I'll put the little stems on them because I think that just adds to it. But the fabrics are so cute. You've got a great green, and it's got the binding, and here are the other greens. And then I love the print. So, whoops, there we go. See the print? So cute. There's some of the other greens. So all of these, and I'm thinking, yes, I need a shamrock in there. And you know, I have like green stripe lamps and lampshades in my living room. I do not know why. I need white ones, but for now, I was like, I need to change it all over to spring. Put this on the table and change it up. We'll see if that happens. Okay, I wanted to talk about making decisions, because it's interesting to watch how all of you sort of work through your things and work through what you're working on, because we all make decisions different ways. Some people love to research, and I was talking to my friend Mary, and she was doing something new, and she was telling me how she just researched everything. She'd like to learn about it and get all of the knowledge and, you know, pull all that in before she actually starts. And I am on the other spectrum. I am like, oh, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. And like, boom, I'm in. I'm all in. Like all in. I don't even research some stuff. I just go, okay, let's try it. And then I maybe do it for a while, and I think, well, maybe I'd like to understand a little bit more about the background now, or a little bit more about what is better practices for this, or how to make this actually turn out correctly. You know, hey, that might be good to know. So for me right now, what that item is, so I'm very curious because I want to know. I'll tell you mine, and then you can tell me yours. So right now, for me, what this item is that I just sort of like, hey, this sounds like good. I decided that I would try yoga. And I've heard about Yoga with Adriene for a long time. It's a free yoga classes online, and in January she does one every day, one new yoga practice every day. And they're between generally, I would say 20 minutes or most of them, 20 to 30 minutes or most of them, and occasionally she does a much longer one, close to, you know, like 50 minutes, and occasionally she does super short ones, like 10 minutes. And then she does playlists. So like in February, she put together a playlist of her videos, because normally she puts one new video out a week. And I started in the middle of January because my friend Cindy was doing the 30 days, which she accomplished. Yay, Cindy. And she and I had talked about this before, and I think Cindy had done it before, but I had never done it. I had gone to look at the channel, and I'm like, I don't know anything about yoga, and I'm not mentally there. But I decided in the middle of January, I thought I should do this. And I started. And I've been doing most every day since the middle of January, a practice. And I love it. It's like, love it. But I don't really know what I'm doing. And I don't really understand the terminology, which is fine, because Adriene is very, she's like, just do what you can, and she uses the terms, but then you kind of need to go look them up if you really want to know everything in great detail, which is fine. But I'm getting to that point now where it's after like maybe 6 weeks or close to 7 weeks of pretty much every day. I think I would like to know more about this, because it's really all about breathing, it's about balance, it's about building strength slowly, about stretching. It's all very, it's not rough on your body at all, and Adriene pretty much tells you to go at the pace you can go, do it, you know, do what feels good, do it your way. If you can't stretch all the way, don't. It shouldn't hurt. Her big thing is it should not hurt. So now I'm at the point where I would like to know more about yoga and what its purpose is, and maybe understand the terms, because I'm sort of liking this. So that's where I am. It's taken me that many weeks to determine that, yeah, I do want to put more thought into it and understand it a bit more. So if you already do yoga, tell me. And if not, just curious whether you like to research. Are you a researcher or a jump right in person? Which are you? It can be in any part of your life too. It doesn't have to be quilt making. It doesn't have to be, you know, because I think we just bring that part of our personality to many things that we do. So I'm never really afraid to try new things, unless I think I'll hurt myself. You know, it's like I'm not the athletic type. You know, not for that part. So I got a couple of things in I wanted to show you that are super cute. They just came. These, remember I showed you the little gingham bag? They have big brothers and sisters. And I found out, let me open this. I am a bag lady. Who else is a bag lady? I used to make bags. I don't so much make. I really buy mostly. I buy bags. I'm, you know. But see, these are really nice size. That's, look, these are great size for keeping your projects in. And then the big daddy, look at that. The coolest part is you can cross stitch on there. You can cross stitch on there, which means you could applicate something too. You could take like a panel that you applicate on, like a block, or even just a pieced quilt block, you could applicate it down. So this mesh has holes that are big enough to applicate on. And I just think that is the coolest thing ever. I'm like, whoa, I love that. So I'll link you up to these. You gotta have bags. I am a bag lady. I don't know how many bags one person can have, but I might be going for the record. I might be. The other, I've got my rolling assistant back here. The other thing I found recently, so I had to get it, was this zipper pull cutter. Look at that. Have you seen these? These were on Shark Tank too. I don't know what the theme is for Shark Tank here today. I have two things that were on Shark Tank. If you don't know what Shark Tank is, it is a television show where entrepreneurs come in to investors and they pitch. They pitch their business to get investment money. And if they get investment money, then there's negotiations on how, you know, like the business side of it. But it's really neat to see different inventions people have and to hear their, as a business person, I'm always interested to hear how they're going to make this work and sell it. So this one was on there. But what it is, it's like your thread, it's a thread cutter that hangs on a zipper, and the thread cutter part is through here. Let me show you that picture. See? So I think this is amazing because you could give this to anybody. They don't have to be quilters. I'm going to get one for my dad for his birthday because he can put this on his duffel bag, and then if he's out somewhere and has a string or has something he needs to cut from a box or something, yeah, isn't that cool? I think it's pretty cool. And it's black, which is nice, which means I can get it from my dad. I'm sorry, but if I was pink, my dad wouldn't want to put it on his bag. But you know, people, they showed you on there, you can put it on a jacket, like your jacket pull, you know, whatever. I just think that's so clever. Thread cutter, zipper pull. They're the ones that make like the little rings with the thread cutter on them, and they make several other products. But this is one that I just thought was something cool for, like I'd probably get my brother one to keep, send it to him for Christmas or something. You know, those are the things people can put, you know, you can hang them on your bag, you can hang them on your backpack, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very good. Okay, one more thing. I've been finding this super useful. The So Colorful Club, this January one was all the creams. And I have been finding these so useful because this lets me get a variety pack by color. And then when I'm going to look for something, I have got these, I think they're all fat quarters. So I've got it to work with, and I can build, you know, I've been building all kinds of things. I just used it recently for a project. I had something that I was looking for, some blues, and it came in the blue pack. So I was super happy about that. It's very, very good. Alrighty, what else? Okay, over online in my community, I have two communities now. In case you didn't know, I have the quilting community, but I also have the Kitchen Adventures, which is my food community over on Facebook. So if you haven't visited Kitchen Adventures, I'd like you to come join me. I just was asking about sheet pan cooking because I think I've been trying that out, where you put like the meat and, you know, everything down, and the vegetables and potatoes or whatever, and you do it all on a sheet pan in the oven, and that saves time. It saves cleanup, and it's all put out there at once. So that's been pretty cool. Of course, lots of fun desserts and yummy things, and just quirky stuff that I find, I share. And then the community is super nice, and they're super engaged, have a lot of sharing of recipes. You know, if you're looking to put things in your crock pot or to make soup, something to, you know, you have more time quilting, basically. We all need more time to quilt. So shoving off some of the food duties like that is pretty useful. Now, I am going to do a goodie bag for this week. Yay! So I'll have a question on that here in a minute. But I wanted to be sure that you've also been visiting over at my group and signed up for my notices. So if you didn't do that, I'll have a link so that you can sign up for email notices, because you don't always see, unless you come to the group, which I highly advise. If you're on Facebook for my community, don't just read it in your feed, because it doesn't show you everything. You want to come into the group, and then you can sort. You can sort by the most recent, or you can just see the most active, or the most things people just, you know, I like to go in and sort for the most recent. So it's in chronological order, basically. And that's just a little tab, and you can do that on my phone. So it's on the app, and it's on your desktop. So however you use your internet, phones, right? Who uses the phone only? No, I use a desktop. You see it over there that I was sitting at? There's my desktop. Went dark while we're talking. Yeah. But I live on a desktop. That's my go-to. Okay, I've got a really fun goodie bag for you, because I had some fabric that I'd gotten in a while ago that it just is so cute, and I think it's feeling a little springy now, so I wanted to have something. Whoops, let me just move this. Something a little springy out there. So let's look down here at my goodie bag for this week. First, I have Fat Quarter Shop sent me some of the new journals. So the next one, goodie bags will have the new journals. Yeah, I showed you mine on the pop-in the other day. So I'm keeping track. So I also have in here for you a spool of Orifil thread, an Olfa knife cutter. These are really nice. I'm getting kind of glare today. And then the little cute Olfa pins, plus this whole bag of stuff. Whee! There is, let me just show you, Itty Biz, whoops, sorry, like the Itty Alphabetties rather. Super cute ruler, another spool of Orifil thread. My favorite seam ripper ever. That's my favorite. Some pins. Look at this. Holy cow. The needle threader for the machine. Wonder clips. A Frixon pen. And needles. All in this. This is the ultimate beginner kit. So that if you know somebody, these kits, I think there's still some out there. If there is, I'll link them to them. But these little kits you could get to get somebody started, plus some sewing fabric. Here is some yardage, two different, here I'll hold it up. Two different shades of, whoops, I put it upside down, of they're like yardsticks, right? Like yardstick fabric. And then the super cute pincushion fabric. Yes! So those are, all of that is in the goodie bag. I'm packing these goodie bags full. We're not going to do not going to do them weekly because that's it gets expensive to mail them. Sorry, mailing has gotten really crazy. So I'll do them maybe twice a month. So you never know. You always got to watch till the end. Watch till the end. So these are going with all the other goodies. I'm like super excited. That's in there. So you are going to have awesome stuff. So what you need to do is go to my website and tell me, what is your favorite notion? Since there's so many cool notions in here, rulers, itty bitties, yes, needle threaders, pins. I want to know what your favorite notion is. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. This is the best time ever, Monday night, to catch up with everybody. I will chat with you online.